Hello, my friends. Arik is here, your Russian coach. We are meeting here for another fun lesson based on Fyodor Dostoyevsky, Маленький герой, a little hero. Before we start, I just want to tell you that I have recently started a new channel. I'll put the link in the description below, of modern Russian. This channel is dedicated to helping you understand Russian classics in the original. This channel is for the crazy ones who want to read Russian classics in their real language. On the other hand, the second channel deals with modern Russian, non-adapted, non-simplified articles and videos of interest that are dedicated at native Russian speakers. So you're welcome to click after this lesson. You're welcome to click on the link below and go and subscribe to my new channel. And my intention there is to take really articles of interest. About your health, about relationships, about life in general, maybe geopolitics, I don't know yet. We're going to deal with very interesting materials there. My intention is to cause you forget that you are learning Russian, so that it will be so interesting for you that you will just be dealing mostly with content, and you will learn Russian automatically and bring it to a very high level. But for now, we are here with Fyodor Dostoevsky, Маленький герой, a very interesting story. First of all, please open your learning materials. You need to have it printed. If you don't have it printed, you have a link below this video. I'm going to show you first where we stopped the last time. And after that, I'm going to remind you what has happened so far. And also it's going to be very useful for new students. So your first mission impossible is to find this expression, в таком безобразном виде, because that's where we stopped the last time. So what you can do, you can click Ctrl F and start typing in the word безобразном. Okay, it will bring you right here, because that's the first time here when Dostoevsky is using this word in the story. Do you remember, by the way, what безобразный means? It means ugly. So в таком безобразном виде means in such an ugly manner. Now, I'm just going to remind you what has happened so far. Meanwhile, just take your time, relax. So the story takes place in a very big mansion where a host is throwing this huge party as if he had decided to waste all his money. Lots of guests are coming and going. That's nearby Moscow, somewhere in the countryside nearby. And there are lots of guests who are invited. Among those guests, there are two ladies and a kid, an 11-year-old kid, who is the narrator of the story. Two of those ladies are friends, and one of them behaves in a kind of a weird way toward this little boy, 11-year-old boy. She is trying to embarrass him in every possible way. So she doesn't seem very kind. And another lady, on the other hand, is really kind, really lovely. But she has kind of sadness, as if she has a secret. And we don't know why. For example, this little boy once was walking through the garden and he noticed that lady crying, sitting and crying. So he took her back to the mansion, but there was something there. But we don't know what. And this little boy really likes that lady. And now we are at the point of the story where the husband of that sad and kind lady, arrives at the party. And we have been dealing during the last maybe 2 or 3 lessons with the depiction of this husband. Somehow Dostoevsky gives lots of attention to depict that husband. How shallow he is. How arrogant he is. He kind of belongs to a certain class in the Russian society of that time, where they were very proud of themselves for holding certain advanced modern ideas, but basically they were very arrogant. They thought themselves above other people, and also they were really, really shallow, basically. So our last sentence, and he's using, can you see, do you remember from the last lesson, he's using different idols' name. So Molech, Vaal. So basically he's saying that those people kind of worship themselves. They're fascinated by themselves. So he's talking here in general about this kind of people. I'm going to read first the last sentence from our last lesson, so that you can check your comprehension, especially if you were at the lesson. If not, just listen, and then we're going to continue. Вся природа, весь мир для них не более как одно великолепное зеркало, которое и создано для того, чтобы мой божок беспрерывно в него на себя любовался, и из-за себя никого и ничего не видел. После этого и не мудрено, что все на свете видит он в таком безобразном виде. So I'm going to translate and then we will continue. So, all of nature, all of the world, for them, means for this kind of people, are not more than one fascinating mirror. Зеркало, you remember? Mirror. Which was created for the purpose that my bajok means idol, that my idol incessantly into it will admire himself. That's not really English, but you get it, right? Like, will admire himself looking into it, meaning и из-за себя никого и ничего не видел, and behind himself, or except of himself, no one and nothing won't see. But after that, it is clear that everything in the world he sees in such an ugly manner. So now we are starting today with на все у него, and we are going to finish, I'll show you where, слизняковой породы. So that's our target for today. So на все у него and слизняковой породы at the end. I'm going to read first in Russian everything, and then we are going to just try to understand whatever you can. And after that, we're going to go word by word and clarify everything. So listen. На все у него припасена готовая фраза. И что, однако ж, верх ловкости с их стороны – самая модная фраза. Даже они-то и способствуют этой моде, голословно распространяя по всем перекресткам ту мысль, которой почуют успех. Именно у них есть чутье, чтоб пронюхать такую модную фразу и раньше других усвоить ее себе, так, что как будто она от них и пошла. Особенно же запасаются они своими фразами на изъявление своей глубочайшей симпатии к человечеству, на определение, что такое самое правильное и оправданное рассудком филантропия, и, наконец, чтобы безостановочно карать романтизм, то есть зачастую все прекрасное и истинное, каждый атом которого дороже всей их слизняковой породы. Okay, let's go over the text. So first of all, let's read the first sentence. На все у него припасена готовая фраза. И что, однако ж, верх ловкости с их стороны – самая модная фраза. So на все means for everything. На все. У него припасена. So he has. Припасена means saved. That's припасена. Saved. Готовая фраза. So the ready phrase. Therefore, на все у него припасена готовая фраза will translate for everything. He has saved a ready phrase. Meaning that they know they have specific phrase or specific words which they use for everything. And что однако ж верх ловкости с их стороны. So look, однако usually it means however. But однако ж, you can underline this whole expression. And in this context, that would be it's peculiar to notice. Однако ж, or it's interesting to note. It's interesting to note. So for everything they have already phrase saved. And что однако ж верх ловкости, it's peculiar to note, that is верх ловкости means the top, верх means top. Ловкость in this case means cunning. So ловкость usually by itself would mean dexterity. That's ловкость. But in this case, it means like top of dexterity in terms of top of cunning. С их стороны, on their part. С их стороны, on their part. Самая модная фраза. So модный means fashionable. So the most fashionable phrase. Now look how it all works together. На все у него припасена готовая фраза. И что, однако ж, верх ловкости с их стороны, самая модная фраза. For everything, they have a ready phrase saved. And what is peculiar to note is the top of cunning or the top of dexterity on their part, the most fashionable phrase. So what's the meaning of this sentence? That they take certain fashionable phrases and they use them often in relation to different things. And then he continues. Даже они-то и способствуют этой моде, голословно распространяя по всем перекресткам ту мысль, которой почует успех. So let's go over the vocabulary. Способствуют means assist. Способствовать, that's to assist. Therefore, даже они-то и способствуют этой моде would mean they even. So even here you put in English after они. And to, it's just stress of the emotion on the thought. So to, you can skip it here meaning wise. Даже они-то и способствуют этой моде. So they even assist that fashion. Because moda means fashion. They even assist that fashion. So which fashion? Meaning the fashion of using those fashionable phrases. Голословно распространяя по всем перекресткам ту мысль, которой почуют успех. Почуют успех, sorry. Голословно means in an unsubstantiated way. Yeah, so I'll give you just a second. It means like groundless, like in a groundless way. Распространяя means spreading. So in a groundless way, spreading. По всем перекресткам, that's перекресток means basically crossing or junction. But по всем перекресткам basically means everywhere. So по всем перекресткам, you can underline it as an expression. It means everywhere. So groundlessly, spreading everywhere, ту мысль, that thought, которой почуют успех. So которой means by which, it relates to thought. By which, почуют means they're smelling. So почуять means to smell something. So they will smell. Успех means success. So meaning that these kind of guys spread everywhere that particular thought, using which they can smell success. Again, showing that they are really shallow. So now look how it all works together, this whole sentence. Даже они-то, basically to here you can translate that exactly. It just makes the word ani more exact. So that's exactly them. Anita. So даже Анита и способствует этой моде. Даже Анита и способствует этой моде, голословно распространяя по всем перекресткам ту мысль, которой почуют успех. So that's exactly they who even assist that fashion. In an unsubstantiated way, spreading everywhere that thought by which they will smell the success. It's good, huh? How do you feel? Именно у них есть чутье, чтобы пронюхать такую модную фразу. И раньше других усвоить ее себе. Так что как будто она от них и пошла. So, чутье means smell. So, почую, чутье, can you see? It's kind of the same root, right? So, чутье means like sense of smell. Basically, чутье, sense of smell. So, именно у них, именно means exactly. У них есть, they have. Meaning, that's, so, именно, specifically, or exactly, they, that's exactly them who have. So, that is the meaning here. That's exactly them who have this sense of smell, чтобы пронюхать такую модную фразу. In order, чтобы, it's like чтобы, in order to, smell, that's again smell, такую модную фразу, such a fashionable phrase. И раньше других усвоить ее себе. Раньше других means before others. Раньше других. Раньше means before. Других comes from другие, which is others. And before others, усвоить ее себе. Усвоить means absorb. Absorb or adopt. So, усвоить ее себе, you can underline this whole expression, to adopt it for themselves. Так что как будто она от них и пошла. So that, так что, so that, как будто as if, она от них и пошла. И она here means it, because it relates to phrase. You understand? So they're talking about phrase. It from them went. So what meaning that they are pretending as if that phrase originated from them. So пошла in this case would mean originated, and и just a connecting word. It doesn't have. You can skip it meaning wise. So now, please see how it all works together. Именно у них есть чутье, чтобы пронюхать такую модную фразу. И раньше других усвоить ее себе. Так что как будто она от них и пошла. That's exactly them who have this sense of smell in order to smell such a fashionable phrase, and before others to absorb it for themselves, so that, as if, it originated from them. So it from them originated. Особенно же запасаются они, особенно же запасаются они своими фразами на изъявление своей глубочайшей симпатии к человечеству, на определение, что такое самое правильное и оправданное рассудком филантропия, и, наконец, чтобы безостановочно карать романтизм, то есть зачастую все прекрасное и истинное, каждый атом которого дороже всей их слизняковой породы. Okay, so that's one of those long sentences by Dostoevsky that takes a long time. Might take whole lesson, but we'll do that. Особенно means in particular, and je just, you can skip it. Meaning-wise, it's just a stress. So, особенно же запасаются они своими фразами. So, запасаются means they are saving. They're saving something for something. So, they are saving their phrases. На изъявление. Изъявление means expression. And на here means for. So, they're saving those phrases for expression, на изъявление, for expression, своей глубочайшей симпатии. Their, глубочайшей comes from глубокий, which is deep. Now, глубочайшей means deep, deepest. Their deepest sympathy. К человечеству. Человечество means humanity. So, человечество means to humanity. So now please see how it works, the beginning of the sentence. Особенно же запасаются они своими фразами на изъявление своей глубочайшей симпатии к человечеству. So, specifically, or in particular, yeah, особенно, they save their phrases for expression their deepest sympathy towards humanity. Yeah, so запасаются, you might say that it is save, but basically it means to stock up, to stock something up. So they stock up their phrases, or they store, also to store. They store their phrases in order to for the expression of their deepest sympathy towards humanity. На определение, что такое самое правильное и оправданное рассудком филантропия. So, определение means definition. So, again, they store their phrases, their made phrases, ready phrases, for the definition, что такое, what it means, what it is, right? What it is. Самое правильное, the most correct. И оправданное, and justified. Оправданный means justified. Рассудком, justified. Рассудком means mind-wise, because рассудок means mind. Рассудка means by the mind. Basically, рассудка means by the mind. Philanthropy. So they store their ready phrases, ready-made phrases, to express their sympathy towards humanity, for the expression of что такое, of what is the most correct and justified by the mind philanthropy. И, наконец, чтобы безостановочно карать романтизм. Наконец means finally. Чтобы, in order to. Безостановочно, incessantly. And карать basically means torture. And карать would be to punish or to torture. So, карать. So, and finally, in order to incessantly torture romantism as a philosophy, meaning. То есть means in other words, зачастую, oftentimes, все прекрасное и истинное. So, everything прекрасное, beautiful, и истинное, and genuine. So basically they use those phrases in order to torture, in order to degrade in this case. But карать means basically to torture or to punish. But here it's to degrade romantism, which is, то есть, which is often everything beautiful and genuine. Каждый атом которого дороже всей их слизняковой породы. So each atom of which relates here to все прекрасное и истинное. So each atom of all those beautiful and genuine things, дороже is more valuable. So дороже might be more expensive or more valuable, like here. Всей их слизняковой породы. All their. Now look, слизняковой comes from слизняк, which is a kind of a snail, but without a shell. Yeah, but it's a kind of a derogatory word. So, слизняковой порода means breed. Yeah? Therefore, слизняковой породы would mean a sluggish breed or slug-like slug-like breed. Yeah? So he was talking about everything that was beautiful and genuine, every atom of which is more valuable than all, like say, all of their slug-like breed. You understand? So now please see how it all works together, this whole sentence. Особенно же запасаются они своими фразами на изъявление своей глубочайшей симпатии к человечеству, на определение, что такое самое правильное и оправданное рассудком филантропия, и, наконец, чтобы безостановочно карать романтизм, то есть зачастую все прекрасное и истинное, каждый атом которого дороже всей их слизняковой породы. In particular, they are storing their phrases for the expression of their deepest sympathy for humanity. For definition, what is the most correct and justified by the mind philanthropy, and finally, in order to incessantly torture romanticism, which means, oftentimes, everything beautiful and genuine, every atom of which is more valuable than all of their slug-like breed. You see? That's classical Russian for you. And now, guys, we're getting to our little miracle part. I'm going to read this whole part for you, and I'm going to put the link just to that final reading in the description box. So let's see where we are starting from here. Just a second. Yeah, so that's на всё у него. So just listen. На всё у него припасена готовая фраза. И, что однако ж верх ловкости с их стороны, самая модная фраза. Даже они-то и способствуют этой моде, голословно распространяя по всем перекресткам ту мысль, которой почуют успех. Именно у них есть чутье, чтобы пронюхать такую модную фразу и раньше других усвоить ее себе. Так что, как будто она от них и пошла. Особенно же запасаются они своими фразами на изъявление своей глубочайшей симпатии к человечеству, на определение, что такое самое правильное и оправданное рассудком филантропия, и, наконец, чтобы безостановочно карать романтизм, то есть зачастую все прекрасное и истинное, каждый атом которого дороже всей их слизняковой породы. Okay, guys, so that's the end of the lesson for today. Again, I'm going to put in the description box my final reading, the link. You can repeat it again and again and again, and if you need explanations, you're welcome to re-listen to this lesson. And if you want to learn modern, very advanced Russian, go to my other channel. You have the link in the description box. If you aren't subscribed yet for this or for another channel, please do. I have lots of plans, lots of interesting materials and strategies ahead of us. Oh, and by the way, if you need my help with your private Russian progress, just let me know. You can contact me, you can ask questions, we can meet on Zoom. I will be really, really happy to help you. So take care, guys. Ciao, ciao.